Hello everyone, I'm here with Kaili. She's part of the first cohort of interns here at Arcade. She was at Arcade during the summer and she learned quite a lot of things. We have a very cool demo to show you of what she achieved during the internship. So, hi Kaili.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
Nice. So, tell me a little bit about your demo before we show it to people.
Yeah, of course. So I spent around 4 or 5 weeks at Arcade, and over that time, I created an AI travel assistant basically that was using Arcade's tool to connect to your Gmail, your Google Calendar, and also while using Anthropic's API to create that travel itinerary that then syncs right into your Google Calendar and sends you an email with all of the listed information on there just to make your travel planning a lot easier.
Awesome. Let's watch the demo.
Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you the project that I have been working on for the last 4 or 5 weeks at Arcade. It is an AI travel assistant, and here it is. Languages I used was mainly Python. There's HTML and CSS, but most all of that actually was with the help of Claude Code because I am not particularly adept at having good front end design. So that's been very helpful. Here it is, and then you can start your adventure here. And then here is all of your inputs for the form that it will then send to the back end to plan your perfect trip. So use the email that you have to your Arcade here, and then I have some error messages that go through in case, say, you spell a city wrong and you want to go on a trip just randomly. Plan my trip, it will flash a message that says check the inputs. So my parents are currently planning a trip to New York City. And once again, specifying that it's a city, not the state. And then here you can choose between flying or driving, and then gas vehicle, electrical vehicle, and all that will do. The only change basically is that it will specify instead of your flights, it'll give you gas stations to help assist you on your travel journey. So they're going to be flying to New York City. This initially, the travel classes were supposed to then book a link or send you a good booking link for a flight, but that idea didn't necessarily happen. The travel dates, it is going to be limited to 5 days, just because the AI cannot handle that much. Anyways, yeah, I'm using Claude Anthropic to then run everything on. So yeah, so they want to eat good food and check out sites. And then here it'll just plan your trip and everything will be going through the terminal. As you can see, the Arcade client is successfully initialized, and then it's starting the trip planning process, validating all that information, and then generating that travel plan using Anthropic API. The tool schema that was used is the one that I made for them that will give events, and those events have event time, event name, event description, and all that will be sent back. And here you go, you can kind of already see the titles of these few. What it will do is it will send it to my email using Arcade as well as add it to my Google Calendar. As you can see, I just received an email from myself, and let me just show that here. Let's reload my inbox. Here we go. And here's my upcoming trip, and it has all the events around the price points, a little description. It's pretty short, but as you can see, it's got everything that I would want. I've specified that it should have a breakfast, lunch, dinner, basically every day to give you some good food recs, and have a couple events per day. And you can see now the trip is generated successfully. If I go to my Google Calendar and I check out, the first to the third one I suspect my trip will be, here is everything that is in my Google Calendar already. Thank you so much for watching.
So that was very awesome, Kylie. Congratulations for the demo. I have a couple of questions that I want to talk about. So first is, what was your previous experience like with programming, AI, and all of these before you built this demo or before the internship?
Of course. So I took an introduction to computer science class at my old school my sophomore year. I'm currently a rising freshman in college, so a couple years back. And I self-studied a little bit of computer science throughout high school, like taking Harvard's CS50, and doing small little projects here and there, whether that was looking through like data sets on Kaggle and like trying to do some machine learning algorithms through that, or just on my own. So that was kind of the extent. I never took a data structures and algorithms course, an AI course, any above the kind of preliminary basic level course. So it had been around 2 years since I really touched any Python before I went to Arcade's internship. So I wanted to, get back in there, and felt a little rusty with everything. But along the lines of AI, so I mentioned that I had looked at some machine learning algorithms, basically just played around with a couple libraries here and there. But other than that, I've never used an API. Nothing that never had to do with authentication, nothing like that, which is a lot of the problems that Arcade helps solve. So I was a bit rusty coming in, is what I'd say, but I've had a little bit of experience.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the demo looks very, very nice. Can you talk to me a little bit about the stack and basically how was your experience using the different tools and especially Arcade? What was the easy and the difficult parts?
Yeah, of course. Arcade definitely made my life way easier. The onboarding process was really simple for me. I think what was helpful for me was just looking through the kind of the tutorials, the quick start, looking through the toolkits, and on the web pages for the toolkits, you guys literally have the written out code of how to implement it, which I took full advantage of and looked right through that, as well as looking through the sample apps and seeing what other people have done and how they've used Arcade has been really helpful for me to guide what I wanted my project to be, how it would even be achieved, and, the specific platform and how I would specifically do that. That was all like seen on the sample apps. So really it was very easy to kind of integrate myself and to kind of understand the world of Arcade through that streamlined process for me. So seriously, like, yeah, using the Arcade part was the easiest part of my project, I would say. And then I think everything else was just, figuring. The hard part was throughout the project was kind of refining an idea, and making a project come to life, because I realized that some things like weren't compatible, or just wouldn't fit in the time constraint of my internship. So that was kind of the hard part, just logistically.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you did some Python before, you did in your previous school, but you were kind of rusty. You haven't touched programming for a couple of years. So with tools like Arcade and maybe Cursor and like this AI ecosystem of like a new wave of programming, do you feel empowered now to build apps and like realize your ideas more?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the fact that I like had this idea and within 4 weeks was able to execute it would not have been possible without AI agents and the AI ecosystem in general. I think just like coming into this, I didn't even know how much I would be able to achieve. And coming out of it, I realized that the only reason, or not the only, but a huge component of the reason that I was able to create this is with the help of this new world and this new world of AI specifically. Like, I came in with an idea and it helped me execute that in such an easy and accessible way that I'm sure that a lot of people who are, say, new to coding or still getting into it, it makes what you want to do so much easier and allows you to take that next step and to finish the project, which is just seriously really awesome. I think my old teacher used to say, like, if you're 50% of the way there when you feel like you're like 80% to the finish line. So that like extra push to the end has seriously been expedited with the help of Arcade and AI agents in general.
Awesome. So do you see yourself kind of leaning more towards like building agents, maybe for school, maybe for like your everyday life, mini apps or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for me, I think part of the college experience is kind of just learning what's out there and how we got there. So I really do want to set myself up with kind of the background of, like, what is AI? What is the math behind all these algorithms, and kind of move from there. But on the application side, to me, I think the application side might be the most interesting, because that's where you can see the real kind of impact of the work that you're doing. So I'm very excited. I just recently joined the computer science club at my school. I'm excited to do the hackathons and to meet the people there and to jump on projects that they're doing. I think that part is super interesting, but also I want to learn kind of the background behind all of this as well.
Right. So I want you to be a little bit critical of Arcade now and tell me what would make using Arcade even better than what was for you.
Yeah, that was difficult when you guys asked me that before and now. I think I know there was a project for more toolkits, and to me, I guess right before that, that was kind of what I was exactly looking for. I thought there were so many apps and so many things, configurations that would have been perfect to fit in with Arcade. And I mentioned a specific toolkit that I think would be really helpful for college students, which was Canvas, which a lot of college campuses use. And I know that Arcade would perfectly be able to solve that problem today. And I can build something that, like, say, connects the assignments folder on Canvas right into my Google Calendar. That would just be super helpful for me. And I think there's tons of stuff that, more toolkits could provide for users. And I know users, of course, can also make their own toolkits, which is super cool. And I guess I mentioned how easy the onboarding process is once you have those like web pages navigated. But another thing I kind of struggled with was finding the right resources to use, whether that was just going through so many GitHub pages and scrolling through them or through the website. I think just finding the right pages was a little difficult. But that was about it.
Awesome. So I want to hear from you about your experience at Arcade. Like, you were here for a couple of weeks, and how was the first, second, third week? What was the evolution of that process?
Yeah, of course. So I came in, I was pretty nervous. I didn't know where I was going. I kind of just came in blind-eyed, but very excited. And I got an office tour. I was like, this is so awesome. There's so many cool spots around here. And then like everyone seems to be working very hard, very diligently, and just joining in all the meetings. I felt that you could really tell that there were so many problems that I had never thought of, essentially. And of course, this is a whole new level where you guys are trying to promote a product and trying to, make it a huge thing. And that process, there's so much that you guys are thinking of that is amazing to see. And amazing to watch how hard you guys are working and, all the caveats that you guys have thought of before it comes to me as a user. Like, there's so much going on behind the scenes that was amazing to witness. So, and I was, I think, a bit shy coming in, but over the 4 or 5 weeks that I was there, like, seriously, every single person I talked to made it feel so homey and so welcoming. I could talk to anyone about anything from my colleges, the college transition, to what being at a startup, like how they got here, how they got to Arcade, and talking to Nate about his meetings and his random conferences. Like, it was just super awesome to see everyone, their journey here, and to be able to talk to them in such a way. You can tell that everyone that works at Arcade loves what they're doing and wants to help people get to where they are, which was the case for me. And I think I came in a little shy, but by the end of my internship, I truly feel like Arcade is such a home for so many people. And I'm very grateful to have had that experience.
All right. So send a message to the team. Maybe like they will watch this for sure. So.
Okay. Yes, please. I will let the team know.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Kaili. Maybe we can see you next year at Arcade at some point.
Yes, I'll definitely pop by. I'll definitely, whenever I'm in San Francisco, I will be there.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.